can sit down and talk what they are not supposed to talk about. The votes are eternally binding as long as you do this. They will be there and binding as long as you can look up and see the sky up. Let me remind you. But what is more important, we all pledge that we are family and let us work as a family.
Appointments to such positions comes with challenges. Challenges which officials believe are surmountable if tackled with dedication and commitment. And after accepting their appointment, the onus now lies on the two to perform up to expectation. As the saying goes, to whom much is given, much is expected. Aissatou Badiane Sarr, GRTS.
Look on with pride at the developments taking place back home. This was the message of the Vice President and Minister of Women's Affairs during a meeting with a delegation of Gambians in diaspora in New York. Ababakar Senghor was with the Vice President's delegation and he reports Haja Dr. Aissatou Saidi also met with the Nigerian Minister of Women's Affairs, Haja Zainab Maina.
Arriving in New York and subsequently attending the opening session of the 57th meeting of the Commission on the Status of Women, the Vice President and Minister of Women's Affairs presided over a series of meetings and events hosted in her honor by foreign diplomats from Nigeria and Taiwan. At the Nigeria House in downtown New York, Vice President Jai Sidi held talks with the Nigerian Minister of Women's Affairs, Minister Haja Zainab Maina. The two officials and their delegations later convened a multi-sectoral meeting where experts provided technical analysis of the various instruments in the draft CSW57 document, which is being formulated during the meeting. Both Madam Jai Sedi and Haja Maina spoke of the importance of domesticating some of the more contentious and critical issues in the document and to tailor-made it to suit African countries and the cultures of Africans.
But we want to make it more concrete. I know that there is cooperation between Gambia and Nigeria at the bilateral level, but I feel that the issue of women's affairs needs to be strengthened more. We have cooperation in all the other sectors, but I think women's affairs can do a lot. We can move mountains in West Africa if we cooperate. Already the women of West Africa, I don't have to tell you, they're so enterprising, they're so hardworking. And really, you're talking about beyond 2015. I think they're the women, it's the women that realize that. Because they're into the informal sector, as it were the private sector, into the formal sector as well. Most of you are, so you can see. The legislators are here, our legislators. So they can do a lot. And once we put network and put heads together, definitely share lessons of good practice, exchange, we can do a lot. As I said, something is happening, but we can do more. And that's why I wanted to take the opportunity here, whilst I'm at the CSW, the 57th session, to meet my sister here and her delegation and concretize some of those issues we had always talked about in the past.
Members of civil society will all come, and of course the business women. You remember, you may recall last time we said we are going to plan a trade fair. This time and around we are going to do that. So many things happened last time. Between the time we met and now we couldn't do much, but I assure you this time around we are going to do it. And as soon as I get home, I will inform His Excellency about this visit, and I will get his permission to reach out to you.
The Gambia's experience in properly adopting the CEDAW document was something the Nigerian Senate Chair on Judiciary, Senator Umaru Dahiru, says his country must learn from in order to ensure women's rights issues are put in their proper perspective. Later in the week, the Vice President and Minister of Women's Affairs and delegation received at the Gambian mission a delegation comprising Gambians in New York and other areas in the United States. Prominent among them, the Imam of Bronx Islamic Cultural Center, Abdullahi Pachaha, who held the leadership in Banjul for what he calls the dynamic transformation of the lives of the people of the Gambia. The meeting with the Vice President also provided the representatives of Gambians in the United States the opportunity to inform the Vice President of some of the few problems they are facing. Addressing the delegation, the Vice President implored Gambians in the diaspora to be law-abiding in their countries of residence, while urging them to continue to look back home and take part in the positive developments taking place in the Gambia. Other speakers at the meeting included the Gambia's permanent representative at the United Nations, David Darrell Tommy, an APRC party supporter in the United States, Pap Botu Sane, Imam Abdullah Fati, Mudlamin Toure, and Bishop Hannah Caroline Falheim, all of whom called for the promotion of peace and tranquility in the country. The Vice President rounded up what was a rather busy week with meetings with potential investors who discussed with her planned investments in the Gambia. Members of a consortium that specializes in agricultural production, construction, water purification, and cybersecurity and surveillance networking said they have had a fruitful discussion with the Vice President and are hopeful of traveling to Banjul to work out details of actualizing the objectives of investing in the Gambia.
As the president of TN Resources Group, Yaro, has mentioned, who is our partner in being, we have a couple of Gambians into the business, and we apparently look forward to bring in key developments to the country and using Gambia as a gateway. And this is where we wanted to meet the Vice President and use the opportunity to see how best we can bring in the manufacturing plants to help the nation from areas of employment and improvement to health, helping the women in development and work with different sectors of women in development and rural areas as well, and in agriculture as well, with infrastructural development.
Earlier that Saturday, one Gabriel Christian, attorney at law, a Dominican, also met with Vice President Jai Sidi. After holding talks with Madam Jai Sidi, Christian, who leads a group of investors that focuses on chocolate production, agriculture, told GRTS that his discussions with the Vice President gave him and his group some valuable insights into how to set up shop in the Gambia. For GRTS News, this is Babukar Senghor.
That report by Babukar Senghor takes us to our first break. We'll be right back with more news beyond our border. Stay tuned. Welcome back. President Barack Obama has said that the United States is deeply committed to the creation of an independent and sovereign state of Palestine during a visit to West Bank. Mr. Obama's visit there was greeted by a small group of protesters who complained that the U.S. president has not done much for Palestine in the last 4 years. Details in this report.
For the Palestinian part of his Middle East tour. A visit marked by a certain disappointment here. There was no peace plan in the U.S. president's suitcase, even though he insisted that the possibility of a two-state solution continued to exist.
The United States is deeply committed to the creation of an independent and sovereign state of Palestine. The Palestinian people deserve an end to occupation and the daily indignities that come with it.
And he added that Israeli settlement activity did not help make progress on the peace front. But all this was not enough to convince the Palestinians. On the streets, there is little room for optimism. Obama failed to live up to expectations that he could deliver them a state. Palestinians are upset he has done nothing for them in the past 4 years.
We are welcoming him in Palestine. At the same time, we are telling him that Palestinians are having the right of independence.
He should take immediate action to stop settlement activities, because the passivity of his position regarding settlements is happening while the very last option of two-state solution is being killed by Israeli settlement.
Shortly before the U.S. president's visit, 2 rockets fired by militants in the Gaza Strip hit southern Israel, the first in 4 months. The attack was condemned by Barack Obama and the president of the Palestinian Authority.
Accusations continue to rise about the possible use of chemical weapons in Syria. The Syrian government is demanding an independent investigation into the matter. The opposition too is calling for a probe as both sides blame each other. Meanwhile, intelligence officials in Washington are also looking into the attacks. CNN's Pentagon correspondent Barbara Starr reports.
As more pictures emerge of hospitalized Syrians, CNN has learned U.S. intelligence agencies are in a massive, around-the-clock effort to determine if these people were attacked by chemical weapons. So far, U.S. officials say there is no corroboration.
So far, we have no evidence to substantiate the reports that chemical weapons were used